Another targeted attack rattles American Jews, this time in Boulder, Colorado. I'm Naomi Ruckham with the latest on the investigation into the chilling act of violence at a peaceful gathering honoring the hostages still in Gaza.
Also today on the Morning Edition, Trump administration officials touched down in Alaska. They're talking jobs, gas, and the future of a $44 billion pipeline project. But for some, the project has more questions than answers. And later, it is a place few Alaskans ever get to see. But this morning, our road tripping crew takes you on the journey to Adak. From empty flights to stunning views, why this remote island is worth every mile as the Morning Edition starts now. Good morning, everyone, on this Monday. Yep, road tripping officially kicked off this weekend, and it is always cool to see where we go in the state of Alaska.
Yeah, and it's always enjoyable to read and watch those stories. Yeah. And if you miss them, we always have them on our website as well as any of our streaming platforms.
We do.
And, we are waking up this morning to those cloudy conditions. They have been with us through the weekend. Now, we did see some sunshine breaks Saturday. Of course, we held on to a bit more cloud coverage for your Saturday, but thankfully we did at least see a couple of hours where we did manage to see some sunshine breaks, and those clouds built right back in yesterday, and they're still with us today with some isolated to scattered showers to be expected. 45 is where we're currently holding at. We are once again expected to continue to hold on to an unsettled weather pattern this week. We've got those persistent breezy conditions which continue to impact a good portion of South Central. Of course, really favoring areas of the Copper River Basin out towards Prince William Sound, and then eastern parts of the Kenai, including the Anchorage Bowl as well as Palmer's, where we're going to see some of the strongest winds today. Of course, winds likely will gust anywhere from about 25 to 40 miles per hour with the strongest winds out towards Golcana. But you can see the rains this morning. They have been tapering off through the overnight hours, still isolated to scattered in nature. Of course, most of the rain that we're dealing with this morning is out towards Prince William Sound. Not much in the way of sunshine breaks today. We'll likely hold on to those mostly cloudy to overcast skies throughout the vast majority of your Monday. And while we can't rule out a stray shower, most of the activity will stay confined to coastal regions, and we are going to see those temperatures warming into the 50s. But we'll also see those winds increasing. Now, here across the Anchorage Bowl, there is an outside potential. We could see those winds up to about 30 miles per hour, but I think we'll see most of our sustained winds of about 10 to 20 miles per hour sticking around through the remainder of the day. Of course, some of those strongest winds will arrive later this afternoon into the evening hours, and we will see several opportunities for some rain showers throughout this week. And of course, temperatures likely will struggle to break into the 60s by week's end. I'll have more on that 7-day forecast for you coming up.
The rise of the Pacific. Alaska can play such a huge role in this, but we've got to get the federal government out of your way. That's what the three of us are here to do.
Well, that was the message from Interior Secretary Doug Burgum as 3 Trump administration officials touched down in Alaska this week to renew their push for oil and gas expansion. Today, 3 senior Trump administration officials are traveling to Prudhoe Bay, touring a pump station along the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. The visit is part of a multi-day push to restart stalled energy projects and unlock new oil and gas development across Alaska. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum, Energy Secretary Chris Wright, and EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin began their visit in Anchorage on Sunday, joining Governor Mike Dunleavy and Senators Lisa Murkowski and Dan Sullivan for a roundtable discussion on energy, infrastructure, and economic development. One topic front and center, a proposed $44 billion natural gas pipeline stretching over 800 miles from the North Slope to export terminals. But one question still looms: who will pay to build it?
There will be people lined up to finance it. We won't take foreign capital to build the pipeline. There may be foreign interest in wanting to be part of it because it's going to be a great project. But what we really need is customers.
The opportunities are just immense, but it's just so hard, so costly, so timely to do anything. Just a lot less is happening that should be, and we're at risk of the TAPS oil pipeline falling below its minimum flow. So there's clearly a need for dramatic change, but dramatic change is coming.
Also on the table, rolling back rules from previous administrations to open up more drilling in the National Petroleum Reserve and the Arctic Refuge, a longtime priority for Trump officials.
There's far more understanding of these materials underground that could become resources, that should become resources to make life in Alaska better, to make America stronger, and to make our country less dependent on foreign adversaries.
You can hear from Governor Dunleavy and Senators Murkowski and Sullivan, as well as some detailed coverage of this visit on our website. The Trump administration is calling out Anchorage, listing it as a sanctuary city on a new national report released by Homeland Security. But city leaders, including Mayor Suzanne LaFrance, are calling foul. Anchorage is the only city in Alaska on the list, which names 500 jurisdictions across the country that federal officials claim are blocking immigration enforcement. City leaders disagree, pointing to a 2015 resolution that clarifies Anchorage does not meet that definition. The mayor's office says the listing is a mistake, adding the city has no policies that violate federal immigration law. An immigration attorney in Anchorage argues the order could be illegal because there's no clear legal definition of a sanctuary city.
There's no definition of sanctuary city. Congress hasn't made one. So it should be unlawful for the federal government to withhold funds that have been appropriated by Congress based on rumor and innuendo.
City leaders have been pushing for Anchorage to be removed from the list. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem defended the designation, saying politicians in those cities are, quote, endangering Americans and our law enforcement. This morning, a man is in custody in Colorado charged with attempted murder after allegedly throwing Molotov cocktails at a group of peaceful demonstrators. The FBI says the victims were marching in support of Israeli hostages when they were targeted. Naomi Ruckham reports.
There is a male with a blowtorch setting people on fire.
A shocking attack in downtown Boulder. Witnesses say this man, identified by the FBI as 45-year-old Mohammed Sabri Suleiman, used a makeshift flamethrower and threw Molotov cocktails, burning people who were marching to support the Israeli hostages held in Gaza.
People were writhing on the ground. It was traumatic to watch, to be honest with you.
Witnesses and authorities say the suspect was heard yelling phrases, including "Free Palestine," before he was taken into custody at the scene.
The FBI is investigating this as an act of terrorism.
A U.S. official confirms to CBS News that the suspect is an Egyptian national who overstayed his visa after entering the U.S. in August of 2022.
The fact that this is happening to Jews in my local community makes me scared.
Leaders of Boulder's Jewish community released a statement Sunday saying, when events like this enter our own community, we are shaken. Our hope is that we come together for one another. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Authorities say the suspect lived in Colorado Springs recently, and the FBI is conducting operations in the county where the city is located. Investigators are delving into the suspect's background and social media posts as they try to determine what inspired him to commit the attack and if he acted alone. A mass shooting near Hickory, North Carolina has left one person dead and 11 others hurt. It happened at a party early Sunday morning when more than one shooter opened fire on a large crowd. More than 80 shots were fired. The person who died was 58 years old. One of the other 11 victims is in critical condition. No arrests so far. At least 11 people were injured in a stabbing attack at a men's shelter in Salem, Oregon on Sunday. Police say multiple victims were stabbed inside the Union Gospel Mission. All were taken to the hospital with different types of injuries. One suspect is in custody, but police have not yet identified him or said what charges he could face. The motive remains unclear as the investigation continues. And 6 more people are under arrest after authorities seized more than 150 bottles of illegal alcohol in the Yukon Delta. Village public safety officers in Emonic confiscated the booze already in dry and damp communities across the region. You're looking at the alcohol there that was seized by village public safety officers based in Emonic. This follows a major seizure earlier this month when troopers intercepted 9 pallets of alcohol at the Anchorage airport. Lieutenant Nick Zito says the investigation began after local reports of increasing assaults and crime linked to illegal liquor.
They have already seen a definite decline in the number of intoxicated people wandering around the village, and incidents within the village. I mean, pulling that amount of alcohol out in such a short period of time generally has a pretty definitive effect that folks can see.
The Department of Public Safety estimates the alcohol seized from the villages shipped from out of state and far exceeding the 10.5-liter limit had a street value of $52,000. Lieutenant Zito says he expects this action will continue to lead to a reduction in crime. A Palmer couple is rebuilding after fire destroyed their greenhouse nearly a week ago.
It takes an emotional toll to have put every second into something for the last 3 years and then see it go.
Well, this is what the greenhouse looked like before the fire. Mimi Rooney and Ben Swim, owners of Brown Dog Flower Farm, say years of work were lost in minutes. The couple expects that it could take years to fully replace what was lost, but support is already pouring in. A fundraiser is now underway to help them rebuild, and they're grateful for the community's kindness. After the break, from jazz to folk, French ballads to barroom favorites, the Spinard Jazz Fest is in full swing. Come on! I wanna be like you. Well, we take you inside this year's biggest celebration of Alaskan sound, why it's so much more than just jazz.
Another week with more cloud coverage and some rain showers across South Central. We're also watching those winds. I'll have more on that. But first, a sunrise, 4:33 in Anchorage, 4 o'clock in Juneau. Your full forecast is next.
Well, back on your Monday, where residents of eastern Idaho, they were treated to a spectacular light show overnight. Lady A danced across the night sky with vibrant greens, purples, and pinks. This video was taken in Victor, Idaho, early Sunday morning, and as you can see, it was well worth staying up for. According to NOAA, strong geomagnetic storm conditions triggered the awesome sight farther south than normal. Of course, we're no stranger to having the aurora out, but it's just kind of a treat, I guess this time of year too, Aaron.
Yeah, I guess we're kind of keeping with the trend of last year, or at least last April, May, when we did see that really strong aurora that peaked well south into the lower 48. And we did see that again through the weekend. Unfortunately, we did see those the clear nights into the daylight continuing to stay with us through the nighttime. And of course, those overcast skies certainly have been with us for quite some time. Now, temperature trend for a good portion of the year has been well above average. Now, May did close out slightly below seasonal values, but our average temperature for the year is coming in at 34.2 degrees, which currently makes this the 5th warmest year to date. And we're going to continue to hold on to slightly cooler weather as we welcome in the first full week of June. We're waking up this morning to 47 degrees in Fairbanks, 21 in Utqiagvik. We got some light rain out towards Nome and western Alaska, and temperatures across western Alaska will be noticeably warmer compared to the chillier conditions we did see last week. And then out towards southeast, we will see some sunshine breaks today, as we do have a brief ridge that is building into parts of the panhandle. We'll break that down for you, but as far as what we're seeing across the state, rain out west as well as through parts of South Central and into the interior, and we're watching this area of low pressure that has brought widespread rainfall back to the Aleutians. Now, the jet stream itself is to our south, so our storm motion staying with us through the Gulf Coast region as well as the Aleutians. This is why we continue to hold on to this unsettled weather. But notice this brief ridge that we've got that's building into parts of southeast. This will lead to somewhat drier conditions today. There will still be some showers in the forecast, but we'll see a brief return to some sunshine breaks in the forecast. But notice this trough of cooler air as well as this area of low pressure out towards the Aleutians. This will keep some unsettled weather, those rain showers, as well as some gusty conditions across the state today and into the next couple of days as we continue to hold on to this cloudier and wetter weather pattern that has been with us for quite some time. So a little in the way of sunshine expected this week across South Central. We are going to see some dry breaks today, but really expecting into our Tuesday and Wednesday, holding on to that better chance for some rain that will build across South Central. So we're going to continue to see that daily chance for some rain staying with us. We'll see some sunshine breaks today across southeast, still seeing that potential for some at least isolated showers, particularly towards the northern panhandle. You can see those temperatures warming into the 50s today across South Central. We're going to see those temperatures climbing into the 50s outside of coastal regions. We'll hold on to that better shot of some rain. So Seward through parts of Prince William Sound, this is where we'll see that better chance for highs to stay in the 40s. Meanwhile, into the Copper River Basin, this is where we'll see some of the strongest winds today. The Copper River Basin could see winds up to 45 miles per hour, while Palmer out towards Anchorage, we could see those winds gusting up to 35 miles per hour. And like we did see last week, most of those winds will arrive later this afternoon into the evening hours. And then for our afternoon high today, we'll make it to about 55 degrees in Anchorage. And looking at that 7-day forecast, little in the way of warmth to be expected. In terms of what we typically see for the first week of June, we generally warm into the low to mid 60s. Not looking likely this week. However, by week's end, we will dry out. We'll see some sunshine breaks into the weekend with highs making a potential run into the lower 60s.
All right, come on, June. Do us proud. All right, thanks, Aaron. Well, Merrill Field just marked 95 years of Alaska aviation and opened its gates to celebrate. Saturday's event have featured flybys, rare planes, classic cars, and hands-on demos for the public. The airport does more than just connect communities. In 2024 alone, Merrill supported over 7,600 medevac hospital visits to Anchorage. Organizers plan to make this event an annual tradition through the airfield's centennial in 2030. The notes were smooth, the lyrics powerful, and the crowd locked in. This weekend, the Spinard Jazz Fest has filled Anchorage with sound, not just jazz, but a mix of genres from local artists sharing their voices, stories, and style. Olivia Nordyke takes us to the center of the music.
I felt very held by the audience and like we were really connecting in a good way because it's so quiet and focused. This is a very interesting audience because it's so quiet and everybody's listening to my lyrics. Because usually when I play in a bar, it's just so rowdy and loud. That's not really the focus. So it's been really nice to have an opportunity to play in a situation that's focused on the music. So people are really there to listen and to be present.
I wanna be a man club and stroll right into town and be just like the other men. I'm tired of running around.
And Spinard Jazz Fest, while it was rooted in jazz, has evolved to so much more than that. Now we do rock, folk, singer-songwriter, and much more. And we are a perfect example of a variation. And we perform jazz as well, but we encompass a lot more through vocal music. So that's what you're going to see through our performance today.
Yeah, PVP is great. The 18th Spinard Jazz Fest goes through June 9th. You will need tickets, though, for certain events. The festival has a new website this year, but you can learn about the featured artists that are playing at 10 different venues. There is a link on our website at alaskasnewssource.com. Well, looking for a new listen, check out Active in Alaska. It's a podcast that celebrates all things outdoors. Host Kendall Stewart, he takes you on adventures across the last frontier, from hiking and kayaking to dog mushing and berry picking. Find it on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's News Source automatically and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's News Source app.